ज्ञान शक्ति समारूढ़ तत्वमाला विभूषिका भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. My namaste and humble pranam to all the dignitaries and best wishes for celebrating National Science Day. So each and every professional subjects has made to solve the problem or issue of individual persons or the society. So Ayurveda too has contributed, and I hope we all know it is a subject of science. But still, looking to the suffering and problems around to us, there are some questions. Is this science have a sense to solve all these issues? And I hope this is the reasons why it has kept as a subject of discussing today. And so I like to share a few concepts what could be make a bridge of understandings that as just now Madan sir has tried to speak that about the concept of srotas, about the concept of prana. It is how linked to solve those health issues, and if why not Ayurveda still reaching to the first grade of treatment. So to mainstreaming the Ayurveda or making its globalized approach, we need some more focus or taking Ayurveda into the next level of its presentations. So this is my first questions to share here. That looking to this variety of statistical data, this is the data of year 2020. So it looks that India have no scientific approach. Patency numbers are very less, but does it indicates the parameter of science? We are using this haldi powder since so many years. It's our trend. It's our trend. It's our culture. It's our traditions. We are not actually think on that ground that we should make a patency on haldi. We should make a patency on neem because it's a part of our life. And next issue is that we are not thinking about making or judging the Ayurveda in terms of patency itself too. And there are so many other issues before declaring or before thinking or before putting a question mark against Ayurveda. Is it science, or should we ready to receive Ayurveda as a science or mainstream medical science? Now, are we in a position to calculate all these issues with the so-called available parameters of science or so-called experimental laboratory? Now, I sometimes arise these questions. The maximum 5% energy we can calculate, we can demonstrate, we can measure, we can present or exchange. Now, what about the rest of 95%? And Ayurveda is related to Ayu, life. So many such other parameters, like say, we are staying in a multi-stair buildings. Our anti-gravity or the gravity sustainable muscles like gluteal muscles, etc., they are working anti-gravity way. So is the Vyayama is applicable there? Is the guna vata dosa like laghu, ruksha? We are not inputting knowingly staying in multi-stair buildings. So it is laghu. It is going against the gravitational force. These all are again live science, but we are not oriented about it. We are not oriented presenting those things in terms of the language of the so-called acceptable science form. So as per the need of the society, as per the multiple numbers of populations or multiple population, we are getting these all food, fruit, vegetables, but has it the real test? Even though these whole populations, why the people are thinking so lonely? And that sense of test. So that sense of science need to propagate, need to unfold. Therefore, a journey is needed from the teleology, the questions of what, why, and up to the level of philosophy. Then only we can think that science is nothing but a journey from philosophy, going through the experimental laboratory and again ends at philosophy. So each and every person in their life towards the end, definitely he will be philosophers because they don't like to get the answer of science in terms of the experimental laboratory, in terms of the so-called sophisticated scientific language. but they realized, they understood by the perception itself. Therefore, it has told that consciousness is absolute. So we have to receive those message of science written in Ayurveda in terms of our perceptions, not by the terms of the so-called science, what is more, putting it's like a false pressures in the system. And therefore, it's a questions that the season is changing, the movement of sun, moon, everything is changing. But how we are expecting that blood pressure should be fixed, sugar will be fixed. So this is an unexpected climate we are creating, and we are, or instead of treating disease, we are creating diseases. Instead of giving or providing health care, we are actually providing a health care system. So therefore, why not we are passing the message? Just meet with Charak, meet with Susrat. They have not written like so. They have written Katham Sarira Dhatuna Vaisamyam Bhavetiti. This is just such nonlinear systems, the asamyata, the vaisamyata, the turbulence, itself is the sign of health. So how to which we should speak, that is science. Now the next things, instead of medications, why not we are planning to propagate the science by educating the peoples? Because maximum 15 to 20% patients should be treated under the medicines or pill or under the hospital. Rest amount of 80 to 85% should be treated by the educations, all propagating those messages from the Sangitas to the peoples and public. And therefore, we should know more about the patient, not more about the disease. Because if we will know about the patient, that if the patient can know about his body, the patient can know about the input and output to the whole physical, mental, and the spiritual or the psychological entry, then definitely they can do the treatment, not by giving the pills, by supporting, by providing the comfortness or consoling, then providing the care systems. Therefore, so many myths and facts are there against the science. By speaking science and science, you are just spreading those epidemicity in the system of health. The speaking the science, you are inventing new and new medicines, and the door is open for ADR. Is any science, any Ayurvedic text, any Ayurvedic Sangitas has written those things of ADR, except the Vyapat Chikitsa, etc. But inducing the medicines, we are creating cirrhosis of liver too much. We are creating the disease of cancer too much. So extreme stress in the statistics of the disease. It is actually not the real aspects of science. It is actually we are misleading the science and creating more diseases to the systems. So many such diseases related to the emotions, related to the manas vigyans. Actually, it is written in our Sanghita as Atma Vigyan. So it is, we are giving the pill, instead we are killing the brain cell itself. Because the Atma Vigyanam treatment is Dhidhari Atma Vigyanam. Nowhere the tablet or pills to be given to a patient of Bhaya. So I'm just leaving these questions. The whole concept of immunity is actually spoiled by the term of science, because the concept of immunity should be started from the mother's birth channels. So through which, when the baby comes out, that times the immunity starts. And in fact, the chemically, if you go to look out the coconut juice, the coconut milk, the mother's breast milks, all have the sodium monohydrate, which is very similar to the plasma, very similar to the immunoglobulins. Therefore, why not we are spreading those messages of science behind the immunity? Similarly, we should understand the sense of science in terms of who am I. If I am a part of the atmosphere, if I am a part of this globe, all the contents in the external universe should be similar to the internal universe. That's the point. Pinda Brahmanda Nyaya, yet to be unfolded in the terms of science and to propagate. And then only we can understand the domain higher to apply those concepts. And we hardly understood the unique selling prepositions of our science. We hardly able to understand the unique selling prepositions of the different concepts of antibiotics and all written in our classics. So this same things we are taking in terms of their pills. The same things can be made by the combinations of many such medicinal plant, and actively work, or very same or similar way, sometimes more to that variety of antibiotic and all it works. So this is another concept of the comorbidity, the subclinical, catching the disease at a subclinical stage. So that's a straightforward shloka has written under the prameha that if the person is standing, you like to sit. If a person is sitting, like to just lay down than sleeping. So this is the way how our body become lazy, and that is the sign that in the futures the prameha vyadhi, the diabetes is coming. So just get off that time, sketch that comorbid, that biomarkers, and start to treat. So our Satkriya Kala is not teaching just to treat the disease at its disease conditions, but prior to its entry, prior to its manifestations, that to catch and provide the healthcare systems that time. So is it not science? Similarly, you are speaking that Mantak's test is positive, but that person is not TB. You are speaking that RT-PCR is positive, but the person is not COVID-19. Or you speak, you are not COVID-19, but still are you healthy? Because we have just forget to learn that virus and bacteria are actually our friend, and we should start to live with them. And that is the real message of Vyadik Shamato concept written in Charak Samhita Sutra Stana 28. There are various ways the Roga Marga has given. Either it is from the Kosta to Saka or from the Saka to Kosta. There are 5 factors has given. Vruddhya, Visinana, Paka, Srotamukha Visana, and Bayonigraha. So 5, that is resembles to the Panchamahabhuta concept. So the 5 Mahabhuta are nothing but the Mahabhuta, that the Bhuta. It's not actually fearing us. That's the combinations of the way how the channels, how the ways are there in the systems, how the 5 basic elements work actively, either for the transportations or sometimes for the excretions, sometimes for the nourishment and all. Without unfolding those, we cannot claim that is this science is scientific, is this medical science, is this Ayurveda is scientific, yes or no. And Yavanta Purusa Murtimanta Bhava Vishesa, how many numbers of cells, how many numbers of particles, how many numbers of atoms are there in the Sarira, in the body, those all are srotas. Those all are the channels. So srotas are not any miracles. It is actually a srotas is the way, the pathway, the channels through which the things just supplied inside the systems. The things just proceed inside the systems. That's why up to this statement of Yavanta Bhava Purusa, hardly somebody can speak any word. This is the concept of srotas in our Sangitas. And we advise the Vyayama. Vyayama is just not a, it's just not a gymnastic way of using our body. The main target is that there should be Swedagama, there should be Swasabruti, and there should be a Sarira Laguta, there should be an activation and a fresh feelings, and that will contract each and every skeletal muscles by activating the endocrine gland, by releasing the myokines or the erythins. All anti-inflammatory agents are there, that way the metabolic systems is activated and our system become very fit for the resiliency against any disease. The concept of Satmyata, it is nothing but the concept of vaccinations, what we are doing today. So that is it not science? There is instruction about the Karna Vedana Sanskara. The Karna Vedana Sanskara increases the immunoglobulins, which protect from different variety of respiratory problems, and even the intellectuality too. So it is not just trained to put the ear ring, it is also a trained to maintain our immunity. So another branch of another aspects of Ayurveda itself is a customized regimen or the lifestyle systems. So which science can teach us to put the oil instead of dental caries? So dental caries, the loose tooth will be treated just by putting oil. So this is the science which teaches us Gandus and Kavala to do or to nourish the things, because we can see the pickles by treated with the oil, that oil layer protect from the bacteria, and that is the reasons why oil pulling should be. So why not we are passing this message of science from the Samhita to the publics? Instead, we are celebrating, to claim, show the evidence. And speaking such things, actually, we are not creating evidence. We are burden this science with the evidences. So we like to work with the work for the iron, but we should not put the evidence for burdening the subject. That's why I many times used to speak. Why not we are asking the questions again ICMR, who are compelling us to do the research under that should be RCT protocol. These are not research. So there is a quotation, Bhagavan Vishnu. So the Jataragni is Bhagavan Vishnu. Which laboratory across the globe can make blood? So the Jataragni can make the blood. That's why the Bhagavan Vishnu. So that's not the orthodox way of asking or addressing Jataragni as a Bhagavan or Vishnu. And that's another way. The molecular death is represented by Santa Agnomriyate. So the very fastest and the correct or cunning way to introduce the medicines to the system is the Basti Chikitsa, because the villi are there, and villi are not in the upper part of the GIT. And that lower part of GIT have the villi can observe the things faster and can able to give a faster drug management to the systems. So is it not a science? And thus the Ayurveda teaches us to cook aerobic in the earthen pot. Ayurveda teaches us the patra sanskara by gold and copper or the silver. So through which the immunity maintained. So there is a Subhana Prasa Sanskara concept. There is a concept of Patra Sanskara concept through which the all minerals will be preserved instead of we are cooking under the pressure cooker. So is it not the science? And if you will not think that way, then the psychological dwarfism and the scientist concept can spoil those messages of Ayurveda, will not spread exactly to the system, exactly to the society. And there are few sloka I try to keep here. That is, this we can see here. Let's say Bhagna Chikisa has written, we have to keep a swastika bandhana. The swastika bandhana still we are following nowadays in all orthopedics and surgeons. There is instructions that if we will not follow these instructions, then it can go under pakwa. So to avoid the infections to the fracture, we should follow this. So is it not the science? And there is instructions to what should be the sadhya, what should be asadhya. So there is categorically it is kept about the GCP instructions. Which are the patients should be taken under the sadhya, which are the patients should be kept under the asadhya categories. So why not we are refuting those things against by repeating or following the as such. And that's most essentials by putting some such variety of questionnaires, and that may be a shortest way to bring the Sangitas or Ayurveda to the big platforms. Higher it can be appreciable, and higher we can helpful to many people going up to the complications of the diseases or going to the sufferings in a very young age. So there are many such way and methodology has given in Sangitas which are completely beyond to pharmaceutical indications. Dana, Swasthana, Bali, Mangala, Homa, each and every word will take 1 hour of discussions. So it's not so easy to keep all these words just to pass the message of science. This is a variety of dana. We all know. These all are the varieties of organ donations. But there are many such dana what we can do, and that is not for others, but for us. And that treat our systems. That is by the process of auto-healing, that is by realizing that let the other peoples to land within us and let we to contribute the others, and understanding that each and every has made for each others. And that's the, again a biggest concept of Samhita, which can bring the global peace and harmony in irrespective of the any country. And next about the drug administrations in case of emergency, there is instructions in Hikka Chikisa, Sitambu Sevaka Sahasa Traso Bismapana Bhayams. Make a sugar and salt concentrated solutions, put as a nasal drops, it will immediately treat the Hikka Vyadhi. So now matter can be asked that which variety of Hikka it is. Collect the data. Just make a sensitizations, and then it could be again we can go to the next level of the propagations. Similarly, in case of Swasa Chikisa, no ekantikam chikisa. So no exclusive single treatment or single therapy can treat the Swasa patient. We have to do the Byaktasa Chikisa or repeated changing either in the oral medications or through the Basti Chikisa or through the Virechan Chikisa, sometimes local Snana Chikisa or sometimes Byaktasa, Fusnan Sito too. So there is instructions in case of Asmari Chikisa, That is akriyanam dhruva mrityu kriyayam sangsoya bhavet. This is an emergency condition where Abopidakasya Bruta has given that in case of asmari or acute lower pelvic regions, pain can be treated by the Nasya Chikitsa. So route of administrations also has written in such a beautiful way. And sometimes the route of administration has also written that without going to the systemic observations. So all the Vyabhaya and Vikasi Dravya, without escaping the routine drug entry into the systems, how it can show the action first and then it will go for the metabolic convergence. So is it not the science? And similarly, guna sanskara, multiple gunas are there in our food today, and through the sanskara, it's not for the nidana it will work, it also can work for the chikitsa cells. So through the in terms of the chikitsa cells, we can immunize the peoples through various way. Just we can see the military peoples are working there in the minus degree temperatures, and they just trained by the concept, like the concept of vaccination itself. And we can fix the protocols of burn case that has written. That is how the burn case to be treated by the bettas of Sita and Ushna. And Dagdha Brahma, how to be treated, how the application of Sneha Abhyanga, etc. And one another bettas chikitsa I have kept to understand easily, Sakrut Ushnam, Sakrut Sitam. So immediately change from Sweeta to Ushna, Ushna to Sita. That way, how we can treat the emergency cases. And next is, if I will ask that how many rasas or tests are there, of course 6. But if I will ask how many tongue we have so many numbers. Each and every cell have the perceptions. So that all perceptions are symbolically represent as the numbers of tongue itself. So the other emergency treatment has written under the Rakta Srava, Chaturvidham Yadetadhi Rudirasya Nivaranam, Sandhanam, Skandanam, Chaiva Pachanam, Dahanam. So Sandhan Kara, Skandan Kara, Pachan Kara, Dahan Kara. All way we can stop the bleedings. And because it is the term Sandhana, so it looks funny. So we laugh on Ayurveda. Now I will take some examples under the Charasandra Sutras on the 4th about the Mahakasaya Gana. So Mahakasaya Gana, we listen Jvarahara, we mix together all the 10 drugs. But my sincere request to all the people who are listening to me, it is not like so. Some are Pitta Samana, some are Amapachaka, some are Visamajvaragna Dravya. So it is not all the 10 drugs should be mixed together because coming under one group. But we should see about their Rasa Panchaka, and we should think about the efficacy and the respective dosas. That's the right way to implement the Ayurveda and to present Ayurveda as a scientific under the scientific platforms. Now I told about the Sita and Ushna Guna Chikitsa. You can see in case of COVID-19 patients, that is in the secondary infections. So it is under the principles of Jora Santapa Rakta Pitta Mudiriyate. So the alkaline phosphates and the 4A type of these enzymes has a zinc cofactors. The enzyme also functions with magnesiums and copper, whereas cobalt, manganese, nickel, and zinc inhibits the enzyme activity to various degrees. So this is a well-organized sectors under the marine biology. We can uplift those things and we can take Ayurveda up to that level of scientific backgrounds. Now, one principles I have taken here to convince so many ways. There are how one principle itself can be understood under the many numbers of scientific methodology. Now, Raktam Skandhayate Himam. By applying the hema or cold, we can do the skandana to the rakta. So this could be a hema dravya. It can do the rakta stambhana because it is a rakta and pitta samaka dravya under the nervous systems. Now I will take another terms, rakta skandhayate hemam. Now this is the gairika. So gairika is raktam skandhayate hemam, but another rakta vasrutas. So the mode of efficacy of the dravya, even the raktam skandhayate hemam, but many different way. Now, if a person is having menorrhagia or heavy bleedings, Raktam Skandhayate Hema, the also will be the drug of choice. Raktam Skandhayate Hema. If it's a Nasa Strava, Nasa Gata Rakta Strava, then Durvasura should be the Raktam Skandhayate Hema. And all the regions I have kept aside. So later on we can, anybody can refer. Now, if we're thinking about Dhanava Srotas, Raktam Skandhayate Hema will be Dhanyaka. So the coriander will be the drug of choice. If the Raktang skandayate hemodar, there is a bleeding or the bleeding like symptoms like pitta symptoms are there, then we can think to apply the dhanyaka itself. Raktang skandayate hemo, even the rakta pachaka dravya, or simple by doing nirvata sweda we can able to treat such cases. And raktang skandayate hema, that is through how the Somya way we can think about the raktang skandayate hema just by applying the breast milk as an eye drop. So bleeding or the Dava symptoms of eye can be easily treated. Raktang skandhayate hema, we all know that is hema and give a cooling effect, not to the GIT, even we feel cool, we feel good. And raktang skandhayate, when the intercranial hemorrhage is there, we can see the morphological structure of Naga Kesara. So the Kesara is hidden within the petals of the flowers. Similarly, if a hidden brain blood bleeding is going on and the BP is increasing and patient is going under the blood pressure, etc., then we can think about the raktang skandayate hema, the Naga Kesara is there. And that's the way how Ayurveda is, how Ayurveda watch, and how it is expected to progress. So another way I like to introduce the Ayurveda, that it is a science kept under the coverings of traditions, not just for it is unscientific. It has kept because easily each and every group of peoples can use. That's why it has told. What is udaharana? Murkha vidusam buddhi samyam yoharanam varnayati. So udaharana. So that is the udaharana. That is the examples where murkha, vidusa, intellectuals or non-intellectuals, common man can easily understood. That's why it is kept under the covering of traditions. That doesn't mean that it has no scientific background to speak. It has no scientific background for the implementations. So bahirantascha bhutanam charam evacha. You are speaking each and every particles of the atoms. They are the charam. They are the acharams. They are bahi. They are antah too. So matter what we are observing is not made out of the matter. Just please break those Einsteinian theory. Please understand these concepts of Advaita Vada, that matter has not made out the matters. It is the energy coming through the matters, presented through the matters, executed through the matters, again ending at the energy itself. So it is the matter still to understand. And why we are claiming Ayurveda, it is why we are thinking that is the modern science. Please try to understand the all Western things are not modern. There is a big differentiation in between the modern and Westerns. Try to understand and don't use the modern and Westerns as a synonymous words. Break those all Eurocentric concepts of science. Uplift those concepts of Ayurveda. They will come, each and every person will accept it, will understand it. We don't need science, we need health. We don't need English. We try to understand the emotions behind the things. So once upon a time, there is no language. It is the emotions to pass without the language too. So leveraging the science to increase the human value, instead of aspirin, why not we are thinking, making a combination of the three things. We can see here it is executed through the image. It's easily understood. Why not we are thinking how we can get the successful agings, even though time will pass, will become old, but our thought, repeatedly used to speak, "Main rahu ya na rahu." Please, sir, don't speak like so. Each and every word, whatever utterings, that effect on you itself. So any wrong or good words that actually for us. So it creates such vibrations around you. Always speak good things. Always speak positive things, because that is impacted to our health. That is impacted to our emotion, our psychology. And biggest concept I always used to speak, the concept of Soha Paramada written in the Sutras on 16. So it is actually nothing but the concept of quantum healings, that our body is sufficient to heal any disease. So tum mujhe bhook do, main tumhe arogya dunga. It is a time now to educate each and every people's. Try to learn, try to bear the bhook, try to bear the hunger, because it will use the different variety of comorbid factors present in the systems, and that's the way we can make our systems resilient against the disease. Then we will not hate the disease, we will love the disease, and to maintain the seesaw of life. And therefore, another biggest concepts also yet to comes, that the quantum solutions of every health problems or every problem across the globes, because the whole globe is interconnected through different levels of annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manamaya kosha. Sitting here in India, we can connect to any persons across the globe, and we can exchange the knowledge. We can understand their problems. We can not only exchange, we can uplift or upgrade the knowledge. We can transfer our prana to the other persons. What is actually experimented, and many people are crazy about learning and doing experimentation on it. And this is another slide I always like, that if anybody still not understanding the Ayurveda is a science, Ayurveda is a live things, Ayurveda is actually supportive to all each and every need of human life, then definitely those organizations should celebrate the mock test of death at least once in every month, because it can teach us many tasks what the textbook never teach, what the laboratory unable to teach. Therefore, exploring science, take into 3 levels, make a freedom movements like movements to the science of Ayurveda. Try to leverage the science and technology as a part of our nation buildings. And then definitely the globe will attract towards country for its innovations, for converting such all knowledges from from Ayurveda, or it could not be just property of our country. At last, I like to share one concept, that if I'll ask a questions, what is cheese? So it has some quality, it has some shape and size, it has some solubility, it has some smell, it has some structures. Irrespective of all these identity of the cheese, if I'll ask to a chemist persons, he will speak, cheese is nothing but a flow of different electricity or the electrons. If I'll ask these questions to Ayurveda people, cheese, don't take. This can create a viruddhar and all. So is these qualities are in the cheese? And without our brain, can we understand the existence of cheese itself? So it is just different opinions respective to the different observers, and whosoever put these questions to know what is a cheese is, and without process of investigating what cheese are, all illusions. So now I will become illusions against such curiosity, and therefore I know it is the views are important, and all views are necessary for the progressive development of human civilizations and progressive development of Ayurveda itself. So think like a doctor, because when we'll think like a doctor, then we can protect ourselves from the disease, and work like a custodians, because without that thought of custodians, we cannot work for some things, anything. Ayurveda is the next one. By scaling and upscaling the Ayurveda, that will be the real scientific approach to this National Science Day. And science is beginning to confirm what we have intuitively known all along. We are greater than what we have been told. Therefore, glorify what you are. Glorify Ayurveda, what it is, and expand what is within us. So be kind to yourselves and think like a doctor's think should be, and this should be the my simple and short message to the sense of science will definitely established. Thank you to all of you for your kind listening.